ejected, I was heading towards an open field. I'll miss.
What up, fellas? We're over here playing some Master Duel today. We got
It's still in one piece.
we got a pretty good amount of time to play right now. Let's get it started. I got some food, watching the show on Netflix, chilling, vibing.
Officials have yet to comment on reports of an explosion. The blast reverberated through the Freya area, rattling communities with devastation. The cause of the explosion
It's over.
That's okay. It's the earthquake alert. It says the epicenter is right near the state. That has something to do with the Felipe's please.
They don't talk about the negative, but it's Nathan?
I get to control your next draw face, bitch. Let me see it.
Yeah. Just drop it off the Nathan. She's taking leave for herself. I don't have to leave. I can imagine everyone laying going around. She just got a minute mark the Levi's life. He's so I we survive. Down there with my family. Why I'm glad to hear that. But unfortunately that doesn't change anything. How can you say that? He made it through. All we have to do is figure out what went wrong with his play. Again, it's not going to be optimistic. About an hour. Geologists noticed seismic activity in the system, and that's what caused the earthquake itself. We can't risk sending in another plane and causing an even bigger one. There's too many electricity flying over the sun down there. I'm sorry. I really agree. Listen again, but there's nothing else that we can do right now.
Let me see your hand. Pull out this card.
I don't give a fuck myself. I'm ejected. It's fine. Hey, you're losing blood. Just a scratch.
Josh, why ain't really broken down?
Makes sense. Remember when I told you that the hair cemetery probably belonged to someone who died? Yeah, I was wrong. It's Lucas's. And he's got that gun. Jesus. So you buried right? I'm married. I'm still I did. I was talking. I think I remember what it is. You're serious. What's wrong with you? Oh, I'm sorry. Look, how long do you have to think about it? Okay. 35.
That's something.
Thanks, here you go. You okay? Yeah, I'm good. picking up the plane. I'll fly. It's alright. If it starts. Sometimes I have to tell you this is a waste of time. You got something better to do? Sounds like you almost got it started. Working hard could be useful. And keep at it, Tom. Thanks, son. You hungry? Nice work, guys. Well, Eddie did get the credit. Those Boy Scout skills are coming handy. Nice. You said I can't change your plan, but take it from here. Yeah. You have no idea how to play them, dude. You want to the slightest.
Really? I'm Judy. I am. I see. Where's your phone? Very nice. You don't know anything about him. Maybe I can let know that. Absolutely not. I don't see how pretty can talk to them. How much more is there anything about us? You're not allowed to talk to anyone. He's dead. I'll follow this. Any worse. That's it. End it. Lily! Get back here! Veronica, did you see me? You know what? I never really screaming anymore. I got here and you're talking like that. Really? You know what happened? Really?
She's a shock. You should take her back.
Come on.
This is great. As if things weren't bad enough, then we're going to worry about this.
What could have done this to?
What if this happens to one of us? How are we going to defend ourselves? That's it, man. Hey, just relax. We're not going to solve anything by panic.
I agree. But we need to treat this place like a crime scene. See if there's any evidence that can tell us who or what did this.
Take a look at the body. I think Terrell calls it dead. The rest of us, what are we going to do? Go back to the clearing and stick together. Nobody goes anywhere alone until we figure out what's going on. Go. Let's watch the 5, 7, box talking about
Nigga,
now we're expecting it.
that's crazy.
There is no goal. That's why we're no, I'm talking about 5, 7, and 5.
When you go by the lovely open door brings new possibilities of freedom of the open door and comforts of home. It's all there is more. Just
Everything is useless.
por $0 por intercambio de cualquier comisión y sin necesitar el plan fiscal.
Plane's on the other side. Looks pretty deep.
If you touch the bottom, it's only a few feet. We can walk it.
Oh, good. Relax. The water never hurt anyone. Actually, that's where you're wrong. And I haven't made you fearful.
Fucking yeah.
You've been off to get to an egg.
Expect that shit.
There we go.
Do better than man. Placing that shit fucking next to each other, dude.
So then you get stuff in the wrong.
Looking to play off right there. Easily, man. Fuck!
Only for the king again, don't you?
You better fucking tell me, my boy. You better fucking tell me this turn, my boy. Cause you dead next turn.
Yeah, that's please. I'll be back.
Dad, I thought you could say about this.
But I didn't talk to him. But Agent Markman told me the voice triggered the device.
So what is that?
They're shutting down the rescue.
Mom and Josh. Oh my god.
Everybody's
He's still working.
I saw him. But maybe God. We're gonna find another way to save this. Okay? And I think the answer, I think is fine. The documentation only mentioned analysis of what this has forth the next things going on.
I think I'll work with this Mom and Josh.
It's possible. That's why I need to talk to Dr. Nathan because she could help us find him. Problem is I can't get a hold of her.
Well, what about her? Maybe she can does her name's Rebecca Oliver's.
Look her up. I don't know anything about her, but she's very involved.
Thomas. She has our first match. It's her name's Rebecca.
What a bad chance to do like this.
No. Go find out.
Okay? Not at all. Yeah. Come on, I'm gonna hurt you. Yeah. I'll hurt you.
That's 7,000. Come on. 74. Not enough.
What's up? So we just her like.
Bro, you didn't kill me? What? That's cool.
Thanks for looking around.
I guess you never saw anything like this back then.
That's the understatement, dear.
How long have you enjoyed this?
Just like my whole life. My dad was the sheriff in my hometown. I joined the force 20 years ago. That's all I've ever known. Yeah, came to the. It's strange. Whatever killed him didn't leave a trace of itself behind.
Hey, guys.
What do you got?
Well, obviously, I think before the full autopsy. I'm pretty certain he was electrocuted. How is that possible? Why 10,000 pieces? I don't know. But these burn patterns can happen with some of the stuff I like. They're called liquid burn things.
Considering I wasn't getting the lightning since we got here, something must cause this. And there's only one person who knows the answer to it. Kids don't make great witnesses under normal circumstances, adding the fact she doesn't talk. What is your attack type? you think it's like irritable? Irritable? Good. So we need to find out which one it is. I thought it was something separate. Or a second part.
Alright. I get it. How you doing?
Oh, you know. Start for life. But beyond that, fun.
I'll find through if anything's asking. There it is. Start in the right engine. Black one that's okay. Did you crash in the middle of the field? Didn't it? Your fly is nowhere for you to take off. Designed for vertical takeoff. Let me do a system set. See the extent of the damage. Your electrical system are both on the street side. Right engine compressor stand. If you have a stem, it's higher. Also, there's a sophisticated machines. It's a good next step. That's how you see one on place here. If you can, we fix it. For example, the lithium battery for another 12,000 years. Couple hours with Bard, we really good that conversation. It's all over. It's easy. I'll trip with them. The brain change. The mom made us really good middle of it. Did we get there before sunrise? Got a whole bunch of food, so you wouldn't have to waste time stopping. Thanks, we thought that was a good idea. I was when we got there, it was just great place there. Here we go. Pick the wheel up again. That was our last time in the station. Cars become all shapes and sizes. Rail cars, servant size, cars all about tails. It's cool. They're the exact part of it. Figure out exactly where it is. Up here, down here, but never here. It's to be here, here. So, we have to go up another direction.
The Home Chef is the meal kit rated #1 in convenience. That means after a long day, dinner is one less thing you have to worry about. And 98% of Home Chef customers say it will work in their weekends which is Home Chef agencies ready to skip the hard parts of the week. So you don't have to stress good right now. You can just continue. Get started at homechef.com.
Maybe you guys would be hungry. Got plenty of that hungry. Thank God. No more leftovers.
Then you've got to declare and tell you a lot of other people over there. Well, hold on. Are you going to do that then? Are we sending help?
Try the radio. Good more. Seriously? I don't guarantee I'd be able to communicate and take it down. Do you need that? You still for permission? What would you do?
Take it upstairs. You should head back. It's going to break with nothing in time.
I gotta grab one more thing. doesn't make sense.
What's up?
When we bring our system, if we just sleep,
Oh, no.
about 5 miles south of here,
What can you say next to?
maybe someone's out there. Someone could help us.
Okay, so we check it and we go for something.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to affect me. That wild animal, it'll have to do right eyes picking up something. Insane, man. You'd rather just go back and not find out what it is. Oh, nothing. Just making conversation. The fruit tastes delicious, Captain. I don't think anybody's ever said that about MREs.
So, okay.
But, rather.
Yeah, I had some on-the-job training the last few days. I did an emergency spinal procedure on your dad.
And you pulled out. No, you don't have to talk about that. Okay, really.
You know, I
He's on a timeout.
Thanks, Steve. Besides, I couldn't have done it without you guys.
You could talk about something else.
Why? I deserve the credit. I would have never helped you with the heroin.
What'd you say?
No. You use it as an aesthetic.
People go on that road through these things.
Wait, somebody has heroin? That's what I'm considering. Yeah, it's not like the same thing. Which one got rid of it, so. What is it?
Wow. That's why everyone says. One terrible soon about her.
Well, I'm gonna get some food. Alright, Scott. What's this I said that?
Stick on the hook on one kill, Eddie. Right now, we need to stick together. Everyone sleeps by the fire. Safety is numbers. Unless someone carries it. I didn't do it. You say, what you did?
You want to sleep by yourself? How about it?
You stay and watch me. I'll take the first shift. But the first I might look at the funny great thing to do things too. I know. But there's nothing we can do right now. Everyone gets some sleep. They'll be okay.
Take the first sleepless night off. I'll be sleepless.
Okay.
I'm sure you're gonna sleep. For Dennis.
Well, I'm sorry, yes. It's good that it's safer.
You're fine, dear. I'll keep the doors locked.
So I just think a minute. So that was just, I realized I didn't speak to get on other way.
I'm sorry, I don't trust you.
I wanted something to my conversation. It's like we everyone here. The people started with this is like, it's you. It's a business.
Hey, bro. I'm at 50. What the fuck is his timer at? No way in hell. He has that much spare time.
I can tell you all the one about him.
I am both took me long enough.
For years. Totally different story. I'm not sure what I was more nervous about. Flying into a sinkhole or seeing you.
Is that why you have a cold?
I wanted to HL theory. So you think you wanted to hear from this?
Of course I did. We all did. You were part of the family and I just laughed.
Sorry. After everything that happened to Daisy, I figured it'd be easier if I wasn't working.
It wasn't.
Let me rewatch the Duel.
A couple weeks ago, actually, that I was again.
I feel like I made a pretty
Why?
misplaced.
I left that. I'm gonna take some more of my head. After you left, I really tried to make it work. I just waited for the day to finally be there for us again. And that's when I realized it was just like
Steve. Gabby was a rock for the group. You need blind history.
crazy.
His vision is really high. Everything that we see in that the years that we see in this world. The only reason there is a rescue mission is because Gavin saw that you were alive.
It's possible.
I thought the same thing would be true. Gavin saw it happen. He dug it up. I started to believe, but I don't believe. Hey.
Right there. That was a misplay. First of all, getting the field card, I should have grabbed another sync card and placing the synchro with the spell card in the same row. Split, always play. That was stupid of me.
That's smart.
I had 5 other options and my dumbass goes for the same fucking row.
That's why we're the bank. That's your ally.
And that's where he just went A-ship. I could have stopped it.
Oh, be there in a sec.
Energy, and not just energy, but also a lot of byproducts of energy production, including fertilizer. In the world, primarily East Asia and India. In return, they've been getting food back. So most people don't appreciate this, but the GCC actually imports 89% of its food needs. The reason why is that they become so rich these past few decades that the population have blown up. And as a result, they have a bigger population, but they don't have agricultural resources. They also don't have water resources. And so they have two major vulnerabilities, which is food and water. And they have a lot of desalination plants around the area. And so,
Desalination.
okay, so a desalination plant takes salt water from the seas and then through an electrochemical process turns it into potable water that people can use for drinking purposes and for agricultural purposes.
Okay.
Right? So as you can see, the entire area, it is extremely vulnerable to drone and missile attacks from Iran. So that's the second thing that Iran has done, which Trump did not expect. He did not expect that the Iranians would close off the Strait of Hormuz. And how the Iranians were to close off the Strait of Hormuz was just by threatening to attack any ships that wanted to cross it. The reason why is that these ships depend on maritime insurance in order to operate. But if there's a risk, a very high risk of being destroyed, then you will not get insurance.
Okay.
So it's not that the Iranians have said to these ships you can't cross, it's just that the insurers refuse to allow these ships to cross because it's too dangerous.
So Trump didn't. You think they'd consider this before they started bombing Iran? That Iran would have some leverage in shutting down such a critical piece of water for, shipping fertilizer, energy, etc. Do you think that they would have known this?
Right, so that's what a lot of people say, that Trump's stupid, that Trump is hot-headed, that he was misled by the Israelis. And there's good evidence to support this. But I want to show you something. Okay, it's all the
Oh my boy. Yeesh, holy fuck!
Okay? And so this is a document that was published by the Department of War, and in it explains what the American strategy to maintain global dominance is. And in the introduction, what it says is that for too long, America has been bullied by the world. America is a nation that protects the world. Yet Europe, East Asia, takes advantage of American generosity. The Europeans don't pay for their defense, and so they put all this money into welfare, into the pension system. The Chinese have been giving America a bad trade deal. The Chinese steal American technology and then use it to make products that they sell back to America. So the Americans have been getting a really bad deal for decades. And President Donald Trump, he's going to change that by doing 4 things. Right? The national defense strategy calls for a 4-point program to put America first. The first thing that
Hey Siri, start a timer.
America's going to do is going to secure the Western Hemisphere. Why?
Just start it.
Because the Western Hemisphere belongs to the United States.
When you say the Western Hemisphere, what do you
Start
mean?
it.
What region is that? Is
Okay.
that Canada as well? And
So look at the map. You can divide.
Hey
You
Siri,
can divide
start a timer from 1
the Eastern
to
Hemisphere, okay, and the Western Hemisphere.
294.
it's everything over here.
Everything, including Greenland, including Canada, including Mexico. Every part of this area belongs to the United States. Therefore, you cannot trade with any of these countries without American permission. Trade to the Americans. And that's why that the Americans have fought one fight in today. It's to tell the Chinese that when it comes here, you either pay a tribute or you'll be attacked. Okay, that's the first point of this strategy. The Western Hemisphere belongs to America. Something that they call the Don okay, which is Trump's corollary in the world. Okay, so that's point 1. Point 2 is that America wants to reimagine its relationship with its allies. Basically, NATO needs to pay for its own defense. NATO needs to go fight Russia and Ukraine. America will provide support, to provide weapons and financing, but NATO needs to do more work. And in East Asia, South Korea and Japan need to do a better job of keeping China in check. Okay, that's point 2. Point 3 is specific to China. And the idea is the United States does not want to destroy China. The United States does not want to humiliate China. But China needs to be put in its place. China needs to respect the power and the reach of the United States. And how the United States is going to do this is by strangling China economically, right? If you look at a map of China, most of its trade goes to something called the Strait of Malacca. And the Strait of Malacca is the most important maritime choke point in the world. All America has to do is fly naval carriers inside Strait of Malacca, and China will lose 90% of its energy exports.
But if they parked them there, China would still go through them.
No, because you have to go through the Strait of Malacca. So America has something called a first island chain. Okay? The first island chain prevents China from reaching the Pacific Ocean. The first island chain includes South Korea, Japan, Taiwan, the Philippines, Malaysia. That blocks China from reaching out into the Pacific. So in order for it to access trade, it has to go through the Strait of Malacca. And through the Strait of Malacca, it can access India, Africa, and the Middle East, right? And so by positioning naval carriers inside Strait of Malacca, it creates a blockade, and China would take a toll in order to access the Strait of Malacca. And the fourth one? And the fourth one is to rejuvenate, reinvigorate America's defense manufacturing sector.
So supercharge the US defense industrial base.
That's exactly correct, yes. All right. So what this means is that the Pentagon, 2 weeks ago, went to Detroit and talked to Ford General Motors and said, you know what, because of this war in Iran, we might need you to stop making cars and start making more munitions.
How do you know they said that?
They published it. They published it.
Really? Yes. So the United States went to Ford and GM and said we might need you to start making weapons in the factories.
Yes, and they're happy doing this because the car markets are much greater for weapons than for cars. This is the Pentagon, so you can charge them as much as you want, and they'll pay for it. Whereas you make cars, it's for the consumer market, and they may not buy your cars, right? So you're like Ford or General Motors, but best deal in the world is to go make weapons for the Pentagon to fight these wars in the Middle East and for Korea. So we're in a situation where, okay, look, you read the news, you can talk to a lot of people, Trump's an idiot, and this war in Iran makes no sense at all. But then, if you read the national defense strategy, that is on the Department of War website. And if you look at how read themselves, it's a very clear roadmap of what America needs to do in order to maintain and get with Germany. And so let's just summarize and make a point. The first major point is to maintain control over the Western Hemisphere and create a fortress America.
It's one of the biggest Venezuela.
Exactly.
Also Greenland.
Look at all the countries that he's named over the past year. Greenland, Canada, Mexico, Venezuela, Cuba, Colombia, Nicaragua, Honduras. But everyone needs a place to live. It's like this. You cannot have a successful society without great education for your kids. You can't do it. And honestly, I get very young and there's some people in the song. So grown up too. If I really didn't think that, if I didn't do that,
Repeat after me. I choose joy today.
Nature-made gummy vitamins. A delightful way to take care.
At Living Spaces, we offer the Sebastian sectional, which features 3 track levels of portable speaker and hidden storage for just $18.50. Transform your living room into an extra bedroom or living room with the Sebastian collection. Only at Living Spaces.
Living Spaces.
Give me World Cup vibe.
Cuba, Colombia, Nicaragua, Honduras. It's all the Western Hemisphere. Okay? And they're all together. Second point is to create divide and rule all around the world. So imagine a situation where in Europe, NATO fights Russia in Ukraine. In East Asia, China fights South Korea and Japan. In the Middle East, Iran fights the GCC allied with Israel. What does America do? America can now sell everyone weapons and resources and finance it. This is back to World War II.
But it makes them weaker as well, generally.
That's the point.
Yeah.
Right? And then what would happen is that $40 trillion that America has in debt will disappear because it will be absorbed by the world. Right? So you can say, look, Trump's an idiot, but if you actually look at a map and how America wants this world map to play out, it makes perfect sense.
So the war is going well for Trump.
It's going very well.
Really?
Yeah.
You said in your prediction that he would lose the war.
Right.
What's your definition of lose the war?
Losing a war means that America would send ground troops, Iran would survive this ground invasion, and this would be so politically damaging that chaos breaks out in the United States, and the U.S. ground invasion is forced to retreat, and the United States is forced to retreat from the Middle East.
And you still think that's going to happen?
I still think that's going to happen.
So you think the United States is going to put ground troops in, Iran are going to resist, and then chaos is going to break out in the United States?
Yes. So let me explain to you why ground troops has to be sent. All right. Okay. So in phase 1 of this war, which started February 28th, which lasted for about 6 weeks, the intention was to decapitate the regime. And you do that by striking Iran, and you do that by striking the military bases and installation throughout Iran. It's what the Americans call shock and awe. And the point is to force the Iranians to fall uncle. But that's not what happened. Because to give up. To give up, basically. Because what the Iranians did was they responded by attacking U.S. bases throughout the GCC. They closed off the Strait of Hormuz. And they routed the people. Okay? So rather than surrender, the Iranians basically doubled down. Okay, that's phase 2 of the war. Now we've gone to phase 3 of the war, where Trump has basically decided that terrorism does not work. And so what Trump's going to do is he's going to impose a naval blockade on Iran's naval.
What is that, another app?
Right? And so the question then is, if Trump understands that the declaration does not work, then using game theory,
What's game theory?
game theory is the belief that all of the world is governed by rules and incentives. And once you understand the rules and incentives, you can predict how people behave. These people will always behave according to their best interests. So in geopolitics, the nation states are individual players. And each nation state is trying to use its resources and its advantages in order to pressure other nation states to obey. Okay? So Trump recognizes that the Iranians closed out the certain moves. But not only that, the Iranians have also used several moves to finance the war. Meaning that now they're forcing.
I'll check it out after this game.
In order to cross it. And so this is a huge advantage for the Iranians. And so Trump has said no.
Thank you, though,
I'm gonna
bro.
blockade your
Good looking.
blockade, negating Iran's advantage over Israel's moves. So if we think about it, again, using game theory, I will discuss what the Americans will do in order to force the Iranians to capitulate. Okay? So I would say there's a three-point strategy. The first strategy is economic triangulation. You basically destroy the state's capacity to finance the war. There are two ways that Iran is financing the war so far. The first is using oil exports. Right? 9% of Iran's oil goes to China. And this is Park Island. Okay, this little spot here is Park Island. This is where Iran will export 90% of its oil overseas. That's the first mechanism. Second mechanism is to certain moves, where the Iranians now can affect polls. So what you have to do is you have to eliminate both of these finance mechanisms. You can close off both when they don't block it. Okay? So that's strategy one. Strategy two is you need to create as much chaos within Iran as possible. You're going to turn this fortress into a prison. Now, the way you do that is by stirring up ethnic tensions in the country. So if you look at a map, ethnic map of Iran, what you discover is that the Persian people are primarily in this area, in the middle of it. When you go to these borderlands, okay, the border areas, it's primarily ethnic minorities. And there are two ethnic minorities in the country that have always been problematic for the government. The first problematic people are called Polacks here in southeast Iran by the Pakistani border.
What do you think about Dark Ruler No More for this deck?
Second people,
You know,
problematic.
works for second turn base. You know, you Dark Ruler everything, and then from there you just start destroying everything. You know, returning everything back to your hand, setting up your board, where you can practically just go into hand on their turn with your Synchron's and your clip.
In these areas. What upgrading base is
Elemental Hero Brainials! Yo, puta loco!
conserve ground control in area in order to supply, in order to push further into the territory.
Okay, so a forward operating base would be the US putting troops into the northwest and the southeast.
You know what? Droplet, I tried it, bro. I just... The fact of having to discard a card, you know, with Dark Ruler is just like a one card, you know, you ain't gotta pay anything.
What you want to do is this.
And I get the fact that you don't do damage,
In order to
but I mean, I always say a set up board win games. So once you set up and you practically just leave them with like nothing on their hands, just top decking, then you have games. And the fact that you can even synchro on their turn it makes it even more viable. But I'll try it out.
with the army in order to
You know, that's the thing about Yu-Gi-Oh! You can try things out.
rebellion.
So right now we're second turn base.
Now,
We gotta go against this board. I gotta figure out if he has any negates.
Remember, the Iranian military is fighting inside.
Okay, so okay, no negate.
Many points of tension in the country as possible to force the Iranian military to respond. Okay. Does that make sense? Okay. And now your third strategy is to strangle capital threat.
One negate.
That's where the political elite are. So it's 10 million people. And the way you strangle threat is you deny them everything. You deny them water,
Bro, this fool only has one negate.
electricity, and food.
But bait it out.
So you attack power. You attack reservoir.
Let's go Rico.
Bring food into the capital. And when you do that, these 10 million people in Iran will now oppose the movement and demand political settlement because they need food, water, and electricity to survive. Right?
Is there a government?
Right now, there's debate as to the true extent of leadership in Iran.
Because Trump's recent interviews, he's saying he's claiming that the leadership in Iran are fighting themselves, but then he's also saying in other interviews that they don't even know who they're dealing with.
Iran has a very unusual political system in that it's a theocracy. It's a military government. It's run by clerics called a mullah, in theory. And then there's a parallel system, a state apparatus, that actually takes care of day-to-day bureaucracy, and that's secular. The mullahs control the morale of the country. They also control foreign affairs. So basically, this is important because Iran has two parallel military structures. You have the military, but you also have the IRGC. The IRGC are only loyal to the mullahs.
Which is the religious.
Exactly. Right. So you have this divide in the country where the IRGC see this as a religious war, as a crusade to kill the great Satan. They want to fight to the death.
And the great Satan is?
The great Satan is the American Empire, which is the source of the misery that Iran has been suffering for the past few decades. And the IRGC, not only do they see America as great Satan, but they also see this as a global conflict because they have proxies that support.
You can do it more than once? No way!
Hezbollah, including here in Yemen, the Houthis, and of course in Palestine, Hamas. Okay, and before, Syria was also part of their axis of resistance, but Syria has been toppled by the Americans and the Israelis. So the IRGC see this as a religious crusade that is global in nature. The political leadership in Iran sees it really different. They see this as a conflict primarily between America and Iran, and they want to reach a global settlement as soon as possible. And so, in other words, these ceasefire negotiations, it's really all for show. Because at the end of the day, even if the Americans gave the Iranians everything they wanted, the IRGC still control the battlefield, and they would not surrender or seek peace terms lightly. Another problem in this situation is the IRGC practices something called the Mosyak strategy. The idea of the Mosyak strategy is, okay, you know the Americans, the most effective military ever in history. You know that they practice shock and awe, they got the patience. So how do you respond to that? You respond to that using decentralization. 31 provinces in the country with own command and control that is localized.
So basically they have 31 different armies that have their own leadership.
That's correct, okay? And when you do this, it's a fight to the finish.
Why did they do that?
They did it because the Americans possess the most sophisticated surveillance technology in the world, meaning they can easily identify the leadership, and they can easily track you down and kill you. So the only way around that is to decentralize the leadership and spread it all around the country so that the Americans cannot kill everyone.
How does the central government orchestrate 31 different armies in Iran? How does it get a message out to them? I heard Peter Hegser make a comment in one of the interviews saying that it takes some time for the pigeons to get out to the army. And what you say basically is that when the ceasefire was called and there was still some missiles flying, you're basically saying that's just because it takes a long time to tell the 31 different armies to stop.
The reality is that given the Mosaic strategy, there's actually no way to coordinate these 31 different military operations. Because the Mosaic strategy was meant to fight to the very end. You do not stop until you completely control the Middle East, and the Americans have been forced out of the Middle East, and Israel has been humbled. Okay, so let's go into the specifics of what the Mosaic strategy is. The idea is that they have an eschatology. Okay, so eschatology is an understanding of how the world should be and how we move towards this world. And for the Iranians, their strategy is that Iran, in order
Oh,
to
I
reach
fucked up.
potential, needs to be master of the Muslim world.
All
It
these
is to
fucking
replace
people with
Saudi
their
Arabia.
vanished cars, bro.
It is Saudi Arabia
Fuck.
needs to align with the United States, which is the great Satan. Mecca and Medina are under the influence of the great Satan. Because why are there U.S. military bases in Saudi Arabia?
I believe that sometimes leadership means collaboration. But know this, when my city is threatened, I will fight. I clash with Trump's ICE agents and Angelino's lockdowns to protect our neighbors. I achieved the first two-year drop in homelessness ever. I battled red tape and insurers to help families rebuild from fires. But I haven't always got it right. There's more work to do. And with your help, I'll keep fighting forever.
Whatever's coming next in your industry, there's a high probability that someone on fire that's already doing it.
Think I'm in late Como? Think again. I'm not going to sit and paint 40 cards when I could be relaxing at Caesar's Republic, Lake Como. Lake Como? You're kidding me.
What's under blocks and open? Shimmer BDS space from the crocodile just let across the me. Trust that's so clear. And all the looks and movie that's just what they need to hear. Hey, still really secrets. Let's understand that real good, real quick. Ain't just some files on the script. That's exactly what you guys need to see. You can do that too.
Why are there U.S. military bases in Saudi Arabia? So this war, from their perspective, it's a great opportunity to overthrow the corrupt leadership of Saudi Arabia, but not only Saudi Arabia, but the entire GCC, overthrow the corrupt government of the entire Muslim world, and install governments that put God, Allah, first.
So they're not going to quit Iran.
This war, once it starts, can only World War III.
That's a strong statement to make. As a probability,
Okay,
what probability would you assign to that claim?
I would put it pretty high, anywhere between 80 to 90% probability.
So that's certainty.
Basically, certain. Yeah.
Explain to me how that happens.
Okay, so we need to step back and appreciate that there's a global dynamic going on, right? And we need to appreciate the grand strategy of the different players involved. Right? So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to explain to you how each nation sees itself in the world. Okay, and to do that, I'm going to use a chess set. Okay, all right. This is the king. This is a global system of the United States, which is democracy. And there are certain strengths and weaknesses to democracy. Democracy is vibrant, it's creative, it's flexible. But its ultimate weakness is polarization, where today the different political factions refuse to get along, and this may bring up a civil war. Okay? So the way you defeat the United States is not to conquer it. You can never conquer the United States. The way to defeat the United States is to force it into a civil war, which then kills the king.
To get its people to rise up against the leadership.
No, you want the Democrats and the Republicans to form different factions and fight a civil war.
Okay.
You want to create so much political polarization, the different elite factions take up arms against each other. Okay? So this is the global system. Okay? Of democracy. Now let's look at Creed. What's a Creed? The Creed is what I refer to as the grand strategy of the United States. How the United States can maintain its control over the entire world. And the grand strategy, it's already outlined national defense strategy. Right? Let's create Fortress America and then create chaos throughout the entire world so that we can sell everyone weapons and resources. Okay, that's the grand strategy. Okay? All right. Now, what's the grand strategy? You need to implement this grand strategy.
How much?
Huh? What? Oh, I didn't. Right. where you're like, alright, this one's up. Touching the fucking monster. Fucking stupid ass thing.
Then you have the US dollar, right? Because the US dollar allows you to finance everything, and everyone wants the US dollar. So that is the second attack vector. And the third attack vector is propaganda. The United States controls the world's most powerful media, including New York Times, CNN. And as such, they can control the narrative of the world. Okay, so these are the three major attack vectors. Now they use the pawns. The pawns are weapons that they can sacrifice in order to achieve the grand strategy. And in the case of the United States, the pawns are the allies. Meaning, I hate to say this, but the UK, Europe, South Korea, and Japan. Okay? And also the entire Western Hemisphere. This is the Americans. Okay? The people who are most opposed to this grand strategy of America are Russian. So let's go over the Russian system. In the Russian system, the king, the political system, is an autocracy. And in autocracy, it's good because it allows for coordination. It allows for decisiveness. It allows for resolve. Long-term thinking. Exactly. Right? That's Putin. What's bad is, if this guy dies, there's a succession crisis. Right? So basically, once you topple the autocrat, then the system itself breaks down. Okay, so that's the Russian system. Right? For the Russians, the grand strategy is something called the Third Rome strategy.
The third Rome strategy.
Yes. Okay? So the people in Russia believe that they are the true successors of the Roman Empire. And previously there were two Romes. There was the first Rome, then it moved to Constantinople, and Moscow is destined to be the third Rome. And what makes Moscow interesting is that
I think I go first. So.
Unite the entire Christian world under its leadership. The main philosopher for the third Rome strategy is Alexander Dugin. In 1997, wrote a book called Foundation of Geopolitics. And what he said was this: what he said that if Russia is to defeat the Americans, it needs to build alliances throughout Eurasia in order to negate American sea power and air supremacy. Right? So what are the top vectors for Russia? Okay? The first attack vector, the size of the country makes it almost invincible. So think about World War II, Operation Barbarossa. The Germans went into Russia with 600 million men, and they didn't get very far. Okay? So the terrain is very important. The geography is very important. Then you have the Orthodox religion, which is meant to galvanize believers into supporting Russia. The third attack vector is artillery. So Russia has the best land army in the world. And we're seeing that play out in Ukraine, where a combination of Russian artillery and drones is devastating the Ukrainian military in Ukraine. The problem for Russia are its soldiers. So Russia is able to sustain many casualties in its military. If you actually go and interview Russian soldiers, they are probably the bravest soldiers in the world. They are literally not afraid to die for what they believe in. Okay, so this is the Russian Third World strategy. You can see how it conflicts with America. Now we go to the Israelis. Jerusalem, the capital. It's a mixed system, meaning it's both democracy as well as a theocracy. And it's good in that the Israelis are very creative. But the fundamental weakness is the vision of the society, where Tel Aviv and Jerusalem don't get along. Okay? So that is the whole system of Israel. The grand strategy of Israel is called the Greater Israel Project.
So they really believe that the entire Middle East belongs to them, from the Nile to the Euphrates. Because that's what it says in the Bible. This is what God, Yahweh, promised Abraham. So their intention is to conquer the entire Middle East, including Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Lebanon, even parts of Turkey. Now, let's look at the attack vector for the Israelis. The first attack vector is Mossad. Mossad is the most powerful intelligence agency in the world, in that it is able to infiltrate and undermine different global systems.
In the Mossad framework, does it mean it's the secret service?
Basically, yes.
The spy system.
Second attack vector for the Israelis is the Jewish diaspora. Because Jews do business everywhere around the world. And Jewish businessmen work very closely with Mossad. And as such, they have influence in a lot of places that they shouldn't have. And the third attack vector is the Bible. Why? Because you're Christian, and there are many Christians who believe this, you believe that the Jews are God's chosen people. So you look at what's happening in the Middle East, all this conflict between Israel and Palestine. A lot of this conflict is being supported politically in the United States by a group of people called Christian Zionists. And these are Christians, they're not Jews, they're Christians, who believe that Israel should achieve Greater Israel Project because this is part of God's plan. The pawns for the Israelis are basically everyone else, okay? So a lot of the hardware underpinning the global IT infrastructure is being controlled by the Israelis. So now we go to the fourth player in this great game, that's Iran. So Iran, it is a theocracy. People are not afraid to die for what they believe in Iran. But the weakness is that it can alienate the majority of the population because only a minority are religious zealots in Iran. Most people just want to live a decent life. So they feel that the mullahs, the IRGC, are a threat to their peace and prosperity, then they might rise up against the mullah.
Which is what we've seen over the years, right?
Exactly. So the disciplinary system of the Iranian. Their grand strategy is to unite the Muslim world under leadership. They have three attack vectors. Okay? The first attack vector are the proxies. Hezbollah, Hamas, and Houthi. Another attack vector is their asymmetrical warfare, meaning using drones and missiles to create as much economic damage as possible. And the third attack vector is their geography or their topography. They are a fortress, so it's almost impossible to invade them. Right? So that's their Shia militiamen, these religious zealots who are not afraid to die. Essentially, many of them could be suicide bombers. Okay, and so for them, this is a religious war. Okay, so now we're seeing how this entire battlefield unfolds across the world. Right, so I've mapped up the grand strategy of these different nation states who will be involved in World War III. Look at the present situation. Okay, so what we have so far is that the Russians are occupied with their army in Ukraine. Okay, this is where their infantry, their artillery is based. At the same time, Russia has something called the Shadow Fleet. And these are about 1,000 tankers that evade sanctions around the world. Okay? And this is essentially their navy. America is the most powerful military in the world. They have the most sophisticated air supremacy as well as control over sea lanes. It tries not to use infantry because that creates civilian casualties and that pisses everyone off. Okay? The Israelis are essentially a mercenary army aligned with the American Empire, doing the bidding of the American Empire. It's fighting against Lebanon as well as Iran. Iranians, they don't have an air force, but they use a lot of drones to threaten. So this is where we are so far. According to the grand strategy, we can predict how they will make their move over the next few months, the next few years. America doesn't really care about this war in Iraq. Because what America wants to do is force the entire world to become dependent on American weapons and resources. And you do that in two ways. The first is you control the strategic choke points of the world. And they include certain moves. But you also want to control a certain amount of stuff. Over here. These are blocks off East Asia. You also want to control Taiwan. You also want to control Greenland. You also want to control the surf, Gibraltar. You can see the American Navy spreading outward and occupying all these maritime footprints. At the same time, you want to use your technological supremacy, the aerial supremacy of your drone, to destroy the world's critical energy infrastructure. Already we're seeing oil refineries being destroyed throughout the world. Oil refineries. Oil refineries, yeah. So you, as America, you're trying to deplete the world's energy inventory, so they're forced to beg you to supply energy. Right? And once this market is created, build infrastructure. You can take over Canada, you can control Mexico, you can take over Greenland. Okay? The Russians have no choice but to respond. Because if the Americans are controlling the strategic choke points, your shadow fleet is rendered redundant, useless. So how do you ship your oil around the world? Well, guess what? I'm just going to build railways to unite the Eurasian continent. Okay? And I'll transport my oil using pipelines and railways. The problem with that is that you're vulnerable to American aerial supremacy and drone attacks. So you have no choice but to arm your shuttle fleet. And now what's going to happen is this caught in the oceans between Russian fleet tankers that are trying to transport oil around the world, and these American destroyers who are trying to capture or destroy these shuttle tankers. Now, the advantage that Russia has is that America doesn't have that much naval assets.
But then he got lucky. He got first. He don't go first. That shit don't work. Simple as that. Like, you know, I mean, you can rush shit like that, bro. But at a high level, bro, that shit ain't working.
Stop Russian boats.
Because
you see, this motherfucker didn't get first. Now he disconnected. Little fucking bitch ass motherfucker, dude.
To provide weapons and resources to the rest of the world. They are Russia and they are. Remember, it's dominant.
You see?
We need to blockade Russia.
Man, y'all bunch of little pussy ass motherfuckers, dog. Play second, bitches. Why y'all being putos?
But it's already happened.
What, really?
Yes, it's already happened.
What?
I don't get first, I disconnect.
Tankers have been seized by the Americans.
Should we do something about that, bro? Fucking, I don't mind. Fuck it, let me be second.
As well. I'm
not gonna motherfucking disconnect and shit. Being little fucking bitches and shit.
Yes, the United States has.
Hurry the fuck up, motherfucker! Damn, acting like you're gonna go fucking second and shit.
Coast Guard intercepted 2 sanctioned shadow fleet oil tankers, while one received direct.
Oh hell yeah, Dark Roller no more.
Chase that started in the Caribbean and ended in the.
I don't give a fuck what the fuck you do.
US forces captured this sanctioned tanker during a pre-dawn raid directly in the Caribbean Sea. US military described it as a stateless, sanctioned dark fleet vessel which was engaged in illicit activities. These seizures are part of Operation Southern Spear, a strict enforcement of the US embargo on Venezuelan oil exports. Both vessels were targeted for violating US sanctions by transporting illicit crude oil linked to Venezuela, as well as Iran. Hezbollah.
And as you point out, this is actually
so these were ships that didn't have a country linked to them directly.
That's why they're called shadow fleet tankers.
Okay.
Yes. But they're essentially Russian.
But they were essentially shipping oil outside of the United States, that the United States would control. Is that kind of...
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes. So,
So the US, I guess, in this environment, get lost.
that's correct, yes. Right? So what the United States is doing is slowly expanding its global reach. And it's doing that is by signing treaties with nations that are part of its club. So the Treaty of Malacca, the United States has signed a military cooperation agreement with Indonesia. And with the Treaty of Coker, the government has signed an agreement now with Morocco. Right? So they're looking for the legal framework to position control the world's choke points, which would bring them directly in conflict with the Russian side of the
So at some point, you think the way that the war starts is the US Navy attacks a Russian boat.
So I personally believe that this will be a drawn-out process, and there's no real concrete flashpoint. Because not only are Russian shuttle tankers,
Some politicians are impossible to trust. Tom Steyer is a different story. Progressives like meeting Prescott because he's been on the front lines with us for over a decade. He organized with us against big oil and he tried to
Hey, fuck that.
Tom made big corporations pay their fair share.
My boy just shredded his monster in the last 21. He fucked up.
Tom Steyer, a progressive governor you can trust.
Well, boys, gold tier 2. Hey, thank you, whoever recommended using that car. I haven't used it, but yeah. So that's it, boys. Till tomorrow, we can hit gold tier 1, and then we'll be close to hitting diamond.
Or you can stay and play. Wine and dine. Source, but it's so much more. Whatever fits you, get in the and awaken to the fun. Play your perfect combination at the Chonga Resort Casino.
big tankers being seized. But remember, Russian oil refineries are being destroyed by Ukrainian drones. The Russians believe that it's NATO that is responsible for the sabotage.
So what do you think the catalyst moment is when this all kicks off?
I think we're already in the catalyst moment. I think we're already in World War III because this conflict, it's going to expand outwards into a global conflict, and there's nothing anyone can do to stop this, right? Because again, we have these different competing visions of how the world should work, and the Russians and Americans are already at conflict with each other. So the next step will be the Russians come into this war on the side of the Iranians.
You think that's going to happen?
I think that's going to happen because according to